This is Good Morning Uganda.
Twelve minutes past 8 a.m. on Good Morning Uganda. It is a Tuesday, 25th of April 2023. My name is Philomena Masco. Once again, welcome to the GMU agenda this morning, where we'll be talking about oil and gas. But of course, this is in relation to the upcoming Oil and Gas Skills Expo 2023. Well, very, very interesting. And this expo obviously is going to be held under the theme where we will be looking at the careers and training opportunities in the oil and gas sector in Uganda. Well, this morning I am very lucky to be having a very special guest with me on set. That is Professor Emeka Akezwa, the Vice Chancellor of International University of East Africa. And we'll be getting into some more details on this expo, why it's very necessary, why it's very, very relevant. Professor, thank you so much for joining me this morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much.
Well, very, very happy to have you here. We'll be delving more into some of the things that have been highlighted in the theme, looking at the available opportunities in the oil and gas sector. Now, this is not a very new thing, especially here in Uganda. We've been having quite a number of conversations and discussions about oil and gas for the last couple of years, seeing as we are now really heading straight into it. Oil and gas sector here in Uganda could be, it is a very, very venture, a very productive venture that we would love to have our youth partake in. Now, when we speak of the youth, we are looking at skills, we are looking at training, we are looking at available opportunities, how we can be able to maximize them to capacity. Now, all of that we'll be looking at this morning. And please, I do encourage you to be part of the conversation. Make use of our social media, Twitter, #UBCGMU, and our WhatsApp platform, 0709 602 592. Any questions, any queries, any comments, your 2 cents are all very, very welcome. I will be talking about that between myself and Professor Emeka. But delving right into this expo, Professor, I would love to know, what did you have in mind, especially when you decided to be behind a very serious event like this? What were you looking at? What was the big picture for you to be part, as the International University of East Africa, to be part of this expo?
Yes. Thank you for that question, and good morning, viewers. The International University of East Africa is a dynamic university that is doing everything it can to assist the country and the region to achieve higher heights through very well thought out curricula, training, and contribution of skilled manpower to the development of the country. So when this first annual Uganda Oil and Gas Skill Expo was proposed, IUEA had absolutely no problems in jumping on board, because we understand the importance of the skilling that is necessary to get the industry going. So what drove us was that it's very much in line with our vision and mission, which is to provide an excellent education that includes practical experience and skills. And in the oil industry, the oil and gas industry, it's a very highly specialized industry that requires excellent skills. So we became part of this oil and gas expo to be able to help to give the skills that the people need in order to be able to be employed in the oil and gas industry.
Okay, so what's the relationship between this expo and actually the prevailing situation in the oil and gas industry as we speak, as of 2023?
As of 2023, Uganda needs skilled manpower to be able to start exploring gas. As you know, the oil and gas industry requires highly skilled individuals on a variety of levels, on a couple of levels, in order for it to happen. So as we speak today, preparations are being made by key stakeholders. Those who are responsible for drilling the oil, those who are responsible for transporting the oil, those who are responsible for analyzing what's coming out of the ground, and also looking for markets and the like, refining. All those things are being planned now. So now is the right time to provide the kinds of training that people need. The projection is that oil will start flowing in 2025, which is not a very long time from now.
Yes.
So the preparations are underway. IUEA is participating heavily in the preparations because IUEA has a department of petroleum, where we provide the skills that are necessary to make the industry work efficiently and productively for the country.
Okay. You talk about skills, but in your perspective, what would you say, or what do you see as the available career opportunities specifically in this oil and gas industry? I mean, what do you feel are the gaps where we could actually come in to fill?
Okay. There are many, as you know, in the oil and gas industry, a lot of skills are necessary. We need drilling engineers. We need environmental engineers. We need refinery engineers. We need management positions, managerial positions for both on the technical side and on the business side of oil, drivers, welders. So the skill sets needed are many, and IUEA is able to contribute to most of these skills. We have an engineering department where we skill people in the engineering requirements. We have a business faculty where those business needs in terms of managing on the business side are needed. We are working on a skilling industry where we can provide skilled welders who can provide the kind of standards that are needed in the industry. So in terms of where we are with this skilling exposition, we are well positioned to provide the kind of advanced training and even the middle type level training in the various areas that the skills training are needed.
Okay, so you could actually say that this is quite a rich sector and industry in terms of available opportunities, as something that students could look into.
Yes, it's a very rich sector because I just highlighted just a few of the areas, you know, the logistics areas, drivers, a whole variety of things. So for this expo, those who are looking for opportunities, this is their opportunity to come to the expo. And the expo is going to be held at the International University of East Africa in Kansanga. And it's open to students, those who are still about to finish, those who have finished already, who are looking for opportunities. They should come to this expo because at the expo we will have all the major players. We will have those who are responsible for setting up the drilling and the exploration of oil. We will have the training institutions. The Petroleum Authority of Uganda and the Oil and Gas Training Association of Uganda have done a very good job in terms of putting this skills training together so that we cover all areas. The young people, even those who are curious about knowing what's needed in the industry so that they can begin to forge a path towards career in the oil and gas industry. They're all welcome. So it's a big opportunity for companies, individuals who are in the oil industry or who want to be in the oil industry to come and to talk to the key players because everybody will be there. The training institutions, which the International University of East Africa represents, the drilling, the drilling companies, and of course training being IUEA, International University of East Africa, and the Oil and Gas Trainers Association of Uganda.
Okay.
So it's open to all, and we welcome everybody because that is what the expo is all about. We will have the companies showing the latest technology in the field. We will have the training institutions talking with the drilling associations to talk about what the requirements are going forward and what kinds of skills are needed immediately and in the short term, long term, So it's an excellent opportunity for people to come, meet, discuss, and then plan about their careers going forward, based in using data.
Okay. Well, before we eventually will be getting into some of the contributions that we would be expecting to be made towards the potential of the oil and gas sector of Uganda, of course, being part of the global oil and gas market. But for now, we'd also love for you to take us through some of the challenges or that you would be acknowledging that could be a hindrance to the oil and gas sector that maybe some people will be expecting to get or pick from all the people that will be part of this oil and gas expo.
Okay, I will speak to that from a, as a training institution.
Yes.
So part of the challenges that we've had is in placing our students for practical experience. So hopefully we will be discussing with the major industry players in that regard, because the oil and gas industry requires both the theoretical and the practical aspects. And IUEA is heavy into practical hands-on experience. But sometimes finding placement for students is an issue. So we will be discussing that in terms of how we can increase that opportunity going forward. But also it's a very capital-intensive training, so to speak, because we have to adhere to the highest standard possible, which means we need all the equipment we need. We do have very good equipment at IUEA, but of course these things always evolve. So we will be looking to see how we can be using the most recent software packages to help our students to learn what is actually out there in the field in terms of cutting-edge technology, because we don't want to put out students with skills that are obsolete. We want them to acquire skills that are current and also skills that will be needed in the near future. So these are just some of the challenges that we have. And of course, from this expo, we look forward to really improving the regular contacts with those who are in the field, so that there's that two-way interaction between the kind of curricula that we develop for the industry, so that it is what is actually needed in the industry. So we've been doing that, but we need to be able to improve that going forward.
And yes, and I mean, what I'm about to ask again could be related to that. What, of course, from a perspective of an institution like the International University of East Africa, what do you think, or why do you think these expos and trainings are very, very necessary, and how do they actually lead to, or how do they create a relationship between industries like oil and gas sector and stimulation of a country's economy like ours, making sure that we build into the potential for it to be part of the big forums when it comes to the international or global oil and gas exports or market in general?
Well, a part of the value is that when you exchange ideas, you begin to talk on a more practical level. You begin to find areas of common interest. You begin to find areas where there are gaps that you can fill. So by interacting at that level, we get to know these faults or gaps, and we begin to figure out how do we forge these kinds of relationships.
Yes.
And we also learn best practices, what is current, what the world market needs, where the need is, and how those can be filled. So of course, those are more policy type thing in terms of the global need for oil and the like. But in terms of training and career opportunities, it opens up the possibility of having us work with institutions that are present in Uganda, and also those where we need specialized skills that are not available in the country, where we can have that opportunity to send students for that kind of skilling. Okay. But the idea from the standpoint of IUEA is to have everything here, so that Uganda has what it needs and we can pump out the required number in terms of students. But the oil and gas industry is a key industry for the country because the current estimate is that Uganda has 6.5 billion barrels of oil and 500 billion cubic feet of natural gas. That is a lot. You know, it will contribute a lot to the economy. And yes, there is the green energy move and the like, but it's always going to be, from an economic standpoint, an interplay of both oil and gas and green energy. It's not an
because we've
either or.
had concerns coming in from the climate scientists.
Yes.
Talking about how this could actually be a bit detrimental. But does that mean that we ignore the economic side? Where do we strike a balance between the two?
No, we don't ignore the economic side. And I'm happy to state that Uganda is striking that balance because there's a move for transition to e-mobility, clean energy initiative. So IUEA had been working to create the electric piki-piki, which we've piloted, you know, since last year.
Okay.
So the country has a framework for clean energy. So it's got to be a combination of clean energy and the oil and gas sector. There is no way it can just be, you know, one. The Clean Energy Initiative, because all the current infrastructure are not designed to run on electricity or wind or solar or all the clean energy. So yes, the climate change issue is a big issue.
Yes.
The country has recognized that. IUEA has recognized that. Other institutions have also. So as the oil and gas, you know, sector takes off, there is that, you know, appreciation of the use of clean technology, of reducing emissions through that industry. So there are a couple of ways that Uganda is looking at to help not increase the greenhouse gases that are produced. So it's not going to be an either or. And at the International University of East Africa, we have our feet in both areas.
Yes.
We are doing the clean energy, we are also doing the oil and gas.
Yes.
So it has to be a pragmatic approach to the use of the resources of the country.
All right. Well, I have Professor Emeka, the Vice Chancellor of the International University of East Africa, and we are talking about the Oil and Gas Skills Expo 2023, which is going to be held under the theme Unveiling the Careers and Training Opportunities in the Oil and Gas Sector in Uganda. Now, of course, we know that the university is behind this, and they're really putting in all effort to ensure that there is a little more skilling in this sector, especially amongst the young people, because we all believe that there are very many gaps and opportunities that young people could actually fill in, right from the technical bit to the business side. All these are opportunities that we believe the young men and women can actually take on. And we're getting to hear more information about this expo. Where is it going to be? Who do you expect to see? What kind of discussions are going to be held? What kind of stakeholders will you be excited to see there? All of that we are talking about this morning. And of course, for any questions, any queries, I do encourage you to get into our social media, Twitter and WhatsApp as well. Forward all those questions. Obviously, we'll be getting to know them. But Professor, aside from these expos like this and trainings like this, I would love to know, as the University of East Africa, the International University of East Africa, how more are you building capacity, especially amongst these young people, to ensure that they occupy this? Aside from the expos, aside from the trainings, what more are you doing to build capacity?
To build capacity beyond the expos, of course, we have the training, the skilling aspect of it, which is not, because there are two paths to this.
Yes.
You need the high level, you know, masters, PhDs, bachelor's degrees holders who are going to be operating at a much higher level in terms of policy, design of rigs, design of other facilities. And you have those who are actually going to be doing the groundwork, those who are going to be welding, those who are going to be doing logistics, driving, and the like. So we have the skilling expo that we can train the youth to get the skills they need in plumbing, in welding, in a variety of things. So we are out there telling people, if you need those kinds of skills, come to the International University of East Africa. And we also have business seminars,
yes,
where we tell people how to think about their careers, about their future, about the opportunities that they have in the country, because the amount of oil and gas that is available is a lot. And as I mentioned earlier, it requires both engineers, business people, legal people to get the industry to work. So besides the expositions that we do, the conferences and seminars that we do, we also have those kinds of training and awareness building in terms of, if you think you have an interest in that area, please come and ask people questions so that we can build the capacity. And we are telling them that regardless of at what level you are,
yes,
you can do something. So that awareness is important, because sometimes people think, oh, I don't have a bachelor's degree, I cannot do anything. No, you can do a variety of things. We have higher education certificate programs. We have short courses that we do. We have
short courses
diploma.
Lasting from how long to how long?
Short courses could last from 1 to 3 months, depending on which area it is.
Okay.
So 1, 3, 4 months.
All right.
So we have all those things that are available to build capacity, because the capacity, like I said, is not only in the engineering field.
Yes.
It is also business opportunities, innovative ideas. What can you do with byproducts? What can you do to create opportunity for yourself, regardless of what kind of qualification you have? So the innovation part of it is important. We try to get people to think innovatively about the different possibilities that exists.
Well, I do agree with you, Professor. Actually, recently, according to the Petroleum Authority of Uganda, the oil and gas sector will actually require or will need personnel of up to 250,000 employees to be able to take on some of these opportunities. Now, when you hear numbers like this, clearly you're thinking about enhanced skilling, you're thinking about things like building capacity during all levels, right from the development stage up to the uppermost stage. So we are hoping that with this expo, we will have people pick the knowledge, the interest, and understand where some of these opportunities are.
Yes.
Now, circling back to the expo, again, which people do we expect to meet there? For somebody who is going to come for this expo, who do they expect to interact with?
Okay, they expect to interact with students, and when I say students, I mean both university students, high school students, and there's a quiz, part of at the expo, to sensitize people to the needs of the industry, to sensitize them to the kinds of opportunities that exist. We are interested in people who are looking for jobs to come and talk to those who are there to see what opportunities exist for them to get jobs in that industry. We expect policy makers to come in and see what the industry is looking at, what they need to do, where they have to go, the tools they need to get there, the resources that are needed, the framework, the guidelines that they expect for people to have. We are looking for employers in terms of those who are in the industry, who will be doing the drilling and the like, to tell people what their expectations are, both in terms of for those who are looking for jobs and for those who provide the training. We're also looking for the training institutions to be present at the expo. And practically people who are out of jobs, who think they have the skills or would need to develop the skills that are needed, because it's a long-term project in terms of the drilling, that the production of oil. So if your skills are not up to snuff today, you come and you find out, what do I need? Where do I need to go to get the kind of skilling that I need? What contacts can I create? both within the training institutions and within the hiring institutions. So it's open to students, high school students, it's open to university students, it's open to those who are unemployed, who are looking for opportunities. It's open to businesses who think they can provide additional services to the major drilling companies. So those who sell parts that may be needed for the drilling, those who sell trucks, those who have logistics capabilities. Those are the companies and people that we expect to see at the expo.
Okay, so what is the process like for those that would really want to be part of it? From all the categories of people you've mentioned, what do they have to do so that they can be part of this expo?
What they have to do is to go online to the Petroleum Authority of Uganda website and register to come. On the website, there are clear directions in terms of those who can come, those who want to exhibit, those who want to present a paper, and those who just want to come in, and it's open to everybody. So people can come.
I mean, it doesn't hurt to learn a few things here and there.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know.
And when is this going to be happening again?
It's going to happen on Friday, the 28th of April, and on Saturday, the 29th of April. So 2 solid days of career guidance, information, of exchanging of ideas, of changing, networking, and providing the information that people who want to work in the industry need, or people who need to be trained in what is needed in the industry, what they need to do, where they have to go. So those 2 solid days at the International University of East Africa, 1112/1121 Kansanga Gaba Road, former Didi's World.
Okay. All right. Well, any final word as we're closing this?
Yes, I want to thank you, BC, very much for being a part of this expo in terms of making sure people are aware of it. I want to thank the Petroleum Authority of Uganda, the Oil and Gas Trainers Association of Uganda, and the institutions that provide the skills that are needed to get the oil and gas industry off and running in Uganda. And I want to say it's a big opportunity for Uganda to be able to exploit this natural resource for the benefit of the country.
Yes.
And that IUEA will do everything it can to ensure the success of the industry through training of qualified people at all levels, so that the country has the capacity it needs to succeed.
Well, thank you so much, Professor Emeka, for stopping by.
Okay.
Well, indeed, there are very many available opportunities when we talk about careers, when we talk about skilling. We're looking at human resource, to handle different aspects of the oil and gas sector. Like I did say, coming in, of course, from the Petroleum Authority in Uganda, we'll need to 250,000 people to come and be part of this whole oil and gas industry to fill all these gaps that we have already established. Remember, it could be for personal development, but we are also looking at the bigger picture to be able to stimulate the economic growth of the country, which between me and you know that there is a big potential to fill that gap. Well, hopefully we'll see you there 28th and 29th at the International University of East Africa, and that is in Kansanga. Please come through, do the needful, go and register, come learn, come and share, come make contacts, and come interact. Well, we'll leave it at that. We have sports updates coming in from Ruben and Pima Chibidango right after this, and Good Morning Uganda Extra is also queued up much later on. Have a great Tuesday morning. I am Philomena